Mary, you're muted.
Okay, massive Zoom fail. Let's start over again. Massive Zoom fail. Let's start over again. This is the day we have been given. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to church for our annual homecoming service. Once again, we are not physically together in church, but we are most certainly joined together. For as we know so well, church is not a building, it is us, it is people, and wherever we are gathered is sanctuary. I'm Mary Beaulieu, I'm a member of the Parish Committee, and we are resuming our practice of having members of the Parish Committee deliver announcements each week. We will mainly draw our announcements from what's going on announced in the What's Happening newsletter, but also there will be the name and the email of the member of the Parish Committee delivering the announcements each week. So if you have a late breaking item that you'd like announced on Sunday that is not in the What's Happening, please just email the person listed there and we will make sure to get what you have to share to the congregation on Sunday. So I welcome all, including those worshiping with us for the first time. For anyone new or anyone who's not on the newsletter mailing list, if you'd like to receive our newsletter to keep up with all that's going on in our community, please fill out the form that is in the chat right now and return it to us, and we will make sure to get you on the list. And everyone, please stay on after the service ends for conversation. You must, of course, bring your own coffee, tea, or juice, but the company will be here on Zoom. So although we're not there, we're so pleased that Pam and Beth are able to bring us our service from the sanctuary once again, with the amazing continued ongoing technical support of Michael Feeney, who is also in the sanctuary. Just a word about all that. To ensure that we had expert advice on whether this was safe, the Parish Committee put together a health advisory team made up of some of our members in healthcare, so to help us determine safe practices. And a special thanks to all who participated in that. And with the team's permission and blessing, Pam and Beth will be leading worship from the sanctuary ongoing with Michael's help in videoing and connecting us all over Zoom. The choir will be sharing their anthems through video, and services will also include video of other singers and musicians, as well as readers. So if you'd like to participate in this way and you have something to bring to the service, please contact Pam or Beth. We would love to have as many participants in services as possible. We're also looking for 1 or 2 people to do the videoing on Sundays, even when Michael isn't available. So if you have technical and artistic skills and you'd like to put together a video for services, please let Pam know. And a very special thanks to Meryl Panette for bringing us the beautiful floral arrangement that's on the communion table, which adds a special touch of beauty and elegance to our worship. If anyone would like to similarly add beauty in the coming weeks, when our theme is grounded in beauty, again, please let Pam know. So there are many activities coming up this week, and I'm just going to run through them quickly here now. Today, we will hold our annual back to school blessing from 4:30 to 5 p.m. outside at the church. And we're broadening our annual blessing of the backpacks this year to bless whatever tools children, youth, and adults are using for the new year. So bring your laptop, your Chromebook, your pencil box, your crayon pack, your phone, your notebook, whatever you're using. We'll gather outside the church, distanced and masked, for a blessing led by Pam and followed by popsicles, which is very exciting. Tomorrow and on the 2nd and 4th Mondays of each month, Brian Sutton is offering a brief virtual meditation session starting at 8 p.m. You can see the newsletter for the Zoom link to take part in that meditation. And thanks to Brian for continuing to offer us this very special way to gather. Love Shows Up Sunday standouts will continue ongoing on Sundays at the church from 3 to 4 p.m. We've gathered on the front lawn of the church every Sunday afternoon this summer with signs in hand in a show of support for diversity, equity, and inclusion, and especially in solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement. And that continues. You can join Pam for the last session of Summer Story Time this Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pam will read Making the World by Douglas Wood, illustrated by Yoshi and Hibiki Miyazaki in honor of Rosh Hashanah. Beginning September 22nd, story time will move to Tuesday evenings, and readers will offer stories of world religions as part of our picture book World Religions class. A few other reminders. We're looking for volunteers for a big fall cleanup at First Parish. Many flexible times are available and tasks for all, whether you like trimming, tending to flower beds, pruning, weed whacking, laying mulch, or even cleaning up trash are available. Erica Boyle is managing that for us. So you can email her if you can help. Her email is ericaboyle1@gmail.com, and it's also listed in the What's Happening. Erica is asking people not to go over and do any groundswork without connecting with her first because of the ongoing steeple and roof projects. And if you haven't checked out the steeple as you drive by, please do. It's looking fabulous. The painting job is really added a wonderful facelift. So thanks again to Erica for helping coordinate all of that, including the cleanup. You can sign up for religious education for children and youth this year. It has begun. Registration for this year's World Religions Religious Education Program can be found on a link that's in the newsletter. Again, if you're not getting the sense now, you need to see the newsletter, because especially in this virtual world, there's so much important information there. Just a little bit more about RE. All classes will meet over Zoom, and the grade 1, pre-K to grade 1 session will begin Tuesday, September 22nd at 7 p.m. Jen Bokovich and Cheryl Pace are the teachers for that. Grades 2 and 5 and grades 6 through 7 will start mid-October to allow families of all school-age children time to settle into the new school year. And start dates for the high school youth group will be announced at a later date. There are several other community-wide programs that may be of interest to you, and they're coming up this month as well. In the interest of time, I won't name them all here, but again, they're all listed, and sign-up information is included in the What's Happening newsletter sent on Friday. Again, if you do not receive the newsletter but want to, complete and return the form that is in the chat. You can also sign up, continue to receive Love Shows Up swag, which Kate Glennon has coordinated for us. You can order lawn signs or t-shirts, and you can pre-order t-shirts and lawn signs there, so you or your friends or neighbors can buy them in person at the Sunday vigil at the church or by emailing Kate Glennon. Again, the email is in the newsletter to arrange payment and pickup. And this ends our announcements. Can't see if the chalice is lit yet, but I'm going to go ahead and read our chalice lighting. We light this chalice for each of us and for all of us, celebrating the flame of love shining in each of us, honoring the light each of us brings into the world, and rejoicing in the community we create together.
The chalice is lit at First Parish. I invite you, wherever you are, to get a candle and light it while Beth is playing the music for gathering, improvisation on the beauty of the earth. And if you like, put in our chat where you have lit your chalice. One of the ways we keep our community tied together is by saying together the covenant of our church every week. Michael's going to unmute everyone so we can hear each other saying it, and the words will go up on the screen. I invite you now, wherever you are, to say together the covenant of our church. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to cherish the living earth, to seek truth in love, and to help one another. And now we begin our worship with a video to help ground us in beauty. We begin our worship with the music of our bell choir, not just because it is beautiful, but as a reminder that wherever we are right now, we have come together in sacred space. Through many ages and across many cultures, bells are used to call up energy and cleanse or prepare spaces. Today and for the next few weeks, our bells will call us together to center ourselves in the beauty of the earth, the beauty of our community, the beauty of life. We will need this grounding in beauty as we live through these anxious and difficult times. Grounding ourselves in beauty connects us to the depth of love within each of us. Grounding ourselves in beauty helps us to perceive that depth in one another. Grounding ourselves in beauty recommits us to act to care for our earth and for all who inhabit it. Let us begin to connect with the ground of our being as we sing the first two verses of the hymn, For the Beauty of the Earth. As Beth plays, Michael will put the words up so that you can sing along. In the beauty of this community, part of the love which from our birth over and around us lies. But it's hard to ground ourselves when we are watching worship on a screen. To ground ourselves, we need to remember that we are not just heads or even hearts, but also bodies. So each of our services will open with an embodied prayer, a prayer of movement. I invite you, wherever you are, to stand as I lead you through it, or if it's more comfortable, to remain seated and go through the motions that way. Whether you are sitting or standing, if you're comfortable, you may close your eyes and let my voice guide you, or you may watch Beth as she leads the motions and I lead the words. Let us do our embodied prayer. Placing our feet on the earth, feel its energy. Breathing, slowing, relaxing our bodies, and opening to the spirit of life, the spirit of love. Bringing our hands to the prayer position, thumbs touching the heart. We remember our connection to the heart of all that is. Bringing our hands down, open, palms up, in a gesture symbolic of gratitude, we gratefully receive the gifts of this day. Grateful for the gifts we recognize and those we don't. Grateful for those who people our circles. We open ourselves to receive the gift of this week's journey. Touching our palms back to back, fingers pointing to the sky in a gesture symbolic of memory. We remember our past, all that brought us here, grateful for all of what has made us who we are. We give thanks for our individual and communal past. Turning our hands back still together, fingers moving in to touch the heart, in a gesture recognizing our authentic selves. We feel our emotions, feeling where we are right now and what is happening inside, who we are without the masks. We give thanks for our authentic selves and all the feelings we carry into this moment and into this week. Extending our arms out, palms down, we reach for the good, the sacred, in a gesture symbolic of reaching for God and good, our yearning to connect, to love and be loved. Bringing our arms up to the sky, we give thanks for the air that we share. We acknowledge that we pollute the air and we ask forgiveness. We acknowledge the mystery of the skies, of the universe, and we give thanks. Coming down to touch the earth, we express thanks for her. We acknowledge that we often do not even recognize that we are walking on her. And we acknowledge that we pollute and harm the earth, and we ask forgiveness. Standing up, we bring our hands in prayer position to the third eye, and we ask for vision, for clarity, and for new ways to live and to love. Bringing our hands back to the heart, touching our God center, we feel how we are always connected to the spirit of life. Let us stay in that space for a moment of silence. And holding on to that connection, let us sing the final two verses of For the Beauty of the Earth. So this is the time in the service where if we were together, I would invite you to come down front and join me for some conversation. Before you come down front or get closer to the screen or whatever you do at home during this time, I'm going to ask you if you're near your kitchen and your sink, if you can go grab a cup of water and have it near you. So I've got mine handy, but I'm going to grab my cup of water while you are doing that. And if you need to take a drink, go ahead. If you have coffee near you, coffee doesn't quite work for this conversation, but go ahead and drink your coffee or your tea. and everyone in it is. And we're going to be on a search for beauty as we talk in church. And also, I hope you'll be on a search for beauty at home and as you go back to school or however else you go about your days. Seeing what we can find that helps us notice beauty and make more beauty. Now, if we were here together, I would ask you where you find beauty. And I bet one of the first answers I would get, and I can think of the people who would say this first off, but I'm not going to embarrass you by saying your names. I think one of the first answers I would get is that you find beauty in the natural world. Maybe trees, flowers, your garden. Some of us like to take walks in the woods, look at the ocean, a lake. So imagine where you find beauty. And imagine that beauty right now in a living thing. Can you see a living thing where you are? Look out your window at a tree, or do you have a house plant near you? Do you have flowers? Do you have something green near you? See if you can find something growing, something alive to look at. Or maybe not growing. We have these beautiful flowers here that were growing until they ended up on our communion table. So I'm looking at those, and I'm also looking out our window at a beautiful tree outside. So look at whatever is green near you. If it is a tree, you might want to remember that many traditions see trees as symbols of life. And maybe that's because trees seem more like people than other plants. Like us, they need to put down roots. They need to talk to other trees, and they take care of other trees. And when you look at trees, you can see that they go through hard times and easy times, sad times and happy times, just like people do. And like us, trees need water to live and grow and make the world more beautiful. If your plant is thirsty, you need to water it. Just like when you're thirsty, you need to water yourself. Sometimes what we're thirsty for is real water, but sometimes we're thirsty for something else, not water. Sometimes we're thirsty for other people, for knowing that we're not alone, for knowing that other people care for us and care about us. That's one of the reasons we come to church, to be watered by the love that other people give us, and to offer water to other people here and beyond our church. And even though we're not together in this room, in these pews, we still kind of water. We care for, we take care of, we show love to one another. So I invite you now, if you would like, to take a drink from your glass of water, reminding yourself of the ways this community offers water to you. And then share your water with your plant. Maybe pour some into your dog's bowl or your cat's bowl or your bird or your other animal. Or I'm not going to ask you to offer the same glass to somebody else, but offer a glass of water to somebody else who may be with you. And remember that we drink water for ourselves, we need water, and we need to offer water to others who need it. And that this church community is a good place to find our water and to give water. Our choir is now going to sing "The Water Remembers" by Jason Shelton. We need that beautiful reminder that the water remembers, because for months, perhaps even longer, we have been living in a drought. There is the drought we see in our gardens, the patches of dried grass, the brown hydrangea flowers, tomatoes growing slowly or not at all. There is the drought of companionship and interaction from our isolation during the pandemic. Our spirits are parched to see each other, to get close, to speak without masks, to hug. There is the drought of trust in those in authority, as now almost daily we learn new ways those in power politically and economically have not put our needs, all people's needs, at the front of their decision-making. There is the drought of security, as we fear for ourselves and one another during this pandemic, not just for our health and our very lives, but for economic survival, as we see stores and restaurants closing, experience ourselves with cutbacks in our jobs and in our salaries, and support the food pantry and community Christmas as they serve increasing numbers of people in need here in our town. And there is a drought of security of a different kind, security for our planet, as we experience the beginnings of extreme weather patterns, fires, droughts, hurricanes brought on by the climate crisis. There is the drought of hope, as over and over we see our society discount people because of the color of their skin, because of whom they love, because of the country or the people they come from, because of the religion they practice, or because of their gender identity. And discount is a mild word. This summer we have watched and protested and mourned for the shootings of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Jacob Blake, and so many others. But we have also mourned other more insidious ways our society sets one group against another, from nationally expecting the unachievable from our police officers, to locally assuming that all residents of the South Shore, including Scituate, are white. And so we thirst for hope, for connection, for trust, for security, for a sense that our actions and our words can make a difference. We come together thirsting. And that is why this morning our worship offers us water. Listen now to Rumi's poem, Story, Water. And as you listen, remember that Rumi, living in what now is Iran in the 13th century, knew what it was like to live in a desert, in drought, in persecution, and in violence. Brian Sutton will read the poem for us.
Story is like water that you heat for your bath. It takes messages between the fire and your skin. It lets them meet and it cleans you. Very few can sit down in the middle of the fire itself, like a salamander or Abraham. We need intermediaries. The feeling of fullness comes, but usually it takes some bread to bring it. Beauty surrounds us, but usually we need to be walking in a garden to know it. The body itself is a screen to shield and partially revealed to light that's blazing inside your presence. Water, stories, the body, all the things we do are mediums that hide and show what's hidden. Study them and enjoy this being watched with a secret we sometimes know and then not. Rumi.
Beauty surrounds us, but usually we need to be walking in a garden to know it. Rumi reminds us that there is water for us, for the beauty of the garden wouldn't exist without water, but that we are watered and upheld by beauty which is also hidden. Our worship for the next 6 weeks will be all about uncovering the beauty which surrounds us and supports us, the beauty which offers signs that the drought is not total, that there are gardens, signs of promise and growth, even in our dryness. So yes, we are in drought, but rain has come and our grass is greening. That is literally true and metaphorically true as well. Beauty surrounds us, grounds us, and connects us, and invites us to go on to seeing beauty more deeply and creating beauty more widely. Yes, we are separated from those we love and from the everyday interactions which make us smile, but we can see one another over Zoom. We see people whom illness or ability or distance might have kept out of our circles. During these past months, for instance, I was able to participate in one cousin's Seder in New York and the bris of another cousin's new baby, as well as the wedding of a friend in California. None of these connections would have watered my life if it weren't for this time. Thanks to Zoom, the teas I hosted in the spring allowed members to join us from as far away as Florida, and also made it possible for someone with 10 minutes open in their schedule to drop in. How have you connected in ways which might not have been open to you before? Yes, we are mourning all the ways our society doesn't offer care, respect, and justice, all the ways its priorities and values are not working for health and wholeness. But we are paying attention in ways we haven't done before, and seeing is the beginning of change. Until we acknowledge we are living in a drought, we will do nothing to safeguard the water we have, make sure it is distributed fairly, and look for other sources. So with our society. Look how here in Scituate conversations are happening which never happened before. We are standing at the church every Sunday. Haley Kingsley led us in reflection and silence this summer. Desmond Sullivan and Carmel Callan have led us into the Rotary. Stride, Scituate Black Lives Matter, Scituate Pride, and other groups are helping us to see and to speak and to act. Change is happening. Beauty surrounds us. And this community is a great source of water. Here, each of us may find ways to quench our thirst through worship, through Monday night meditation and other spiritual practices, through religious education and conversation. And we are a source of water for the community as we, renewed and strengthened by the water we have been offered, find new ways to offer it to others. Here are your waters and your watering place, wrote Robert Frost. Drink and be whole again beyond confusion. Here at First Parish is your watering place. What do you need to be whole? Come to the water and drink. The invitation stands open. The waters are here. As we move into our prayer time, I invite you now to look around you at your own life, to see ways you would like to be watered by this community and ways we can offer water to others through our life together. Be specific. What would you like to take part in? Do you want to lead it? Do you want to work with others to make it happen? Please write your thoughts in the chat as we listen to the first verse of our prayer song, Look Around. I'll look forward to reading later what you wrote about as you looked within yourself. And if new ways occur to you as the service continues, you're welcome to add them to the chat or email them to me if you think of them after the service has ended. As you look around during our prayer time, new ideas are likely to arise. Our prayers in these weeks will invite us to have an open-eyed experience of looking around. So while usually you may close your eyes for the prayers, today you might want to try something different. Perhaps instead look around and find something to focus on. It might be the candle in front of you. It might be a detail that you rarely see, or something that you frequently see, but maybe you want to see it more deeply. Perhaps it's a tree out your window, or a piece of art near you, or maybe it's that glass of water. Or you might want to let your gaze just wander around, seeing what speaks to you as you now open your heart in prayer. Looking around with our eyes or with other senses is how we notice the beauty in the world and in the people we encounter, but also how we notice the suffering we are called to pray for, to love for, and to work for. Let us open our hearts to mystery. On this beautiful day, we give thanks for the earth around us, for the season as it begins to move towards the shorter days, the cooler days of fall. And we give thanks that we have once more returned together, even though apart, to unite our hearts in love, in worship, in thought, in reflection, and in song. We are mindful of the centuries past of people who have gathered in these pews, in these walls that we are connected to, and pray that their spirit may live in us, that thirst for justice, that thirst for love, for knowledge, and that it may carry from us into our world. We pray especially today for water to fall upon our world, the water of justice, but also literal rain. We remember those who are experiencing fires in Colorado, California, Washington, and Oregon. Those who are seeing smoke out their windows and breathing it in when they go out. Those who have had to flee burning homes and towns, and those whose homes will not be there for them when they can go back. We remember too those who have lost their lives in these flames and those who are mourning them. We pray for the firefighters and all who are working to put out the flames. And we pray for those who are working to care for our earth, to help us understand new ways to deal with what is happening around us. We pray for the rain of healing to fall on those who are living with COVID-19, those who are mourning ones they have lost, for the health workers who care for them, and for all who are dealing with the many, many ramifications of this illness, this pandemic, for people who have lost jobs and homes, for people who have lost loved ones and friendships, for people who do not know what tomorrow will bring. We pray for healing, for their fears, and for their lives. We pray for the water of learning to fall upon our students and our teachers as they go back to school. It is a scary time, always a scary time, as school starts and you don't know if you're going to make friends, or if your friend will be in your class, or what it will be like to learn new things this year. As a teacher, you worry about how you'll connect with your students. We pray always for those concerns as the school year begins. But this year we pray also for the strange ways that school will be taking place during these times. We pray for the safety of teachers and students, and that they may still be able to engage in the excitement of learning and growing together, even over Zoom, even distanced, that learning may still happen and inspire growth. We pray for all of us in this new church year, that we may find new ways to connect, to help one another grow, and to work together for the justice, the love, the care which we have to offer to our world. In silence, let us take time now for our own prayer and our own meditation. May the peace of this time remain in our hearts and in our minds in the days to come. This is the time now in the service where we share our joys and our sorrows with one another. And we're going to try doing them a little differently, both from the way we've done them in church together and from the way we were doing them over Zoom last spring. In a minute, we're going to listen to the final verses of the song, Look Around. And while it's playing, I invite you to write in the chat what arose in your heart as you looked around during our time of prayer. What joys, what sorrows did you see with your physical eye or with your inner eye, that third eye of your heart? And if you'd like to respond to someone else's joy or sorrow with words of care, please do so also in the chat. As we begin, I'll place 2 stones of water in our bowl. One for our sorrows, one for our joys. I invite you now to share in the chat your joys and your sorrows with one another. As the song says, we'll get through this together with outstretched arms and many helping hands. So now, as Beth plays variations to the Sicilian hymn by Benjamin Carr, I invite you to make a donation to support this church and the Situate Food Pantry, which, with compassion and grace, has been meeting the increased need in our town during these past months. Our church, along with the other churches in town, is one of the sponsors of the food pantry, so its ministry is our ministry, and many of our members are actively involved. If you'd like to take part in their work in ways other than donating, take a look at their website for more information. The morning's offering for the works of this church will now be given and received. spiritual practice like prayer, singing, and contemplation. So we ground ourselves each day by integrating contemplative practices into our daily lives. Each week during this series, I'll offer a different ritual to help you remember to open more deeply to the beauty which surrounds us. This week's ritual action is a time of meditative watering. Set a reminder each day to pour yourself and drink a glass of water, and then fill another glass and water some other living thing, offering a glass of water to someone else, to your animal companion, or to a plant, a tree, your garden. As you do so, allow your mind to slow, your heart to open, your eyes to drink in your surroundings. You may want to put a note nearby. Water is life. Water your life so you can water other life for the beauty of the earth. And now let us sing about water for all people as Beth leads us in our closing hymn, "O come, you longing, thirsty souls." The words will go up on the screen so that you may sing along. I invite you to go into the week carrying the words of this Diné traditional prayer. In beauty I walk. With beauty before me I walk. With beauty behind me I walk. With beauty above me I walk. With beauty around me I walk. It has become beauty again. May beauty grace your steps this week. Go in peace.